Welcome to episode 215 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here. And this week, Chad Malone is back on the podcast. Finally.
Long overdue.
That's right. I looked it up. It was episode 58. And here we are at 215. So it's been quite a while, but we're very happy to finally make this happen. And guess what? It's St. Patrick's Day has passed, but it's St. Patrick's Day week. So I believe that's why we've got him on this week.
There you go.
Yeah. You said that's a good week for it, so that's the week we made it happen.
That's right.
Before we get into all that, we got to let you know that we're sponsored by DEB Concerts and Med Farm. DEB Concerts, based in Tulsa, keeps bringing kick-ass rock bands to the Ideal Ballroom. Bands like Saxon, Tom Kiefer, Sebastian Bach, Stryper, Warrant, Winger, Lita Ford, a huge long list, and they've got more shows to be announced soon. But recently they announced that they are bringing Snoop Dogg, Nelly, and Chromeo to the BOK Center.
Nice.
That is pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah, we've talked about that recently, how very glad to see DEB Concerts jumping up to the arena level.
Yes, I mean, we're not hip-hop guys at all. But like I've said before, we're DEB guys. So to see these guys move up to the arena level is great. I can only imagine what they're going to do next. It's awesome.
Yeah, huge things are coming. If you want to go see Snoop Dogg in Tulsa along with Nelly, then get your ass out to BOK April 12th. You can buy tickets at Ticketmaster beforehand. It's that simple. And DEB Concerts booked all the acts for the D&B processing stage at Rocklahoma this year. It is one of the two side stages at Rocklahoma, and they are bringing in Lita Ford, Ace Frehley, Beasto Blanco, Slaughter, Strutter, who is a Kiss tribute band. Then we've got the Midnight Devils making their return. These guys always kick ass at Rocklahoma or anywhere they are.
Yep.
We've also got Solidify, Grind, Doxy, Down for Five, Poster Child, Dead Metal Society, Rocket Science, The Normandies, Zen Hipster, and many more.
Yes. It'll be quite a time.
That's right. Over 4 days of rock and roll, May 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. 23rd is the pre-show, which features Slaughter and a few other acts, so get out there early and enjoy the whole weekend. And you'll hear more about that in the weeks to come.
Of course.
Med Farm is located in Broken Arrow. They're a pretty new dispensary. Been around for a few months now. They recently had their official grand opening here a few weeks ago. But we're very glad to have them on as a sponsor. You can get in there any Friday and Saturday if you need to see a doctor to get your medical marijuana card. Every Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then when you buy your product from them, you just say that Thunder Underground sent you, and they'll give you 10% off your first order, which is a great thing. But an even greater thing is that 30% of their profits go to help build no-kill animal shelters in this area of the state, which is another huge thing that we're both very excited about and very glad to be, have our small part in this by having them sponsor this podcast.
Of course.
Go check out Med Farm. You can find them on Facebook. That's MEDPHARM. And you can find them on Instagram at MedFarmOK. Okay, and speaking of Med Farm and DEB Concerts and Rocklahoma, both of those have donated items to this benefit that we mentioned in our last episode.
Yes.
We didn't have full info at that time. It was all coming together. But as we talked about last episode, our good friend Josh Baker was in an accident that put him in the ICU. But the great news is that now we're talking here a week and a half later, and he got to go home just the other day.
That's right.
So he's still got a long road of recovery ahead of him. But, we're doing our part, which is putting on this benefit April 7th at the Shrine. And like I mentioned, Med Farm, they're donating an item for the raffle. DEB Concerts has donated 2 weekend Rocklahoma passes for this raffle. And then we've got other items from Local businesses like Marshall Brewing Company has a tasting package. Iloft Salon has donated a gift card. Fat Phillies Sunset Tattoo, our good friend Jake Thompson,
Yes.
has donated a $100 gift card. Down for Five has donated an autographed guitar. And we've got other autographed memorabilia to announce soon, as well as other gift cards for these silent auction and raffles.
That's right.
And we've also got a bunch of acts playing.
Yes, we do.
Like who?
We got Zen Hipster, Steve Liddell, Weston Horn and the Hush, Tony Romanello and the Black Jackets, Murderous Mary, Let Slip the Dogs, Modern Myth, and Dead Union. So that's a pretty stacked lineup, and it should be a fun afternoon/evening for a great cause to help our buddy out because he needs it.
Yeah. Yeah, all those bands are great. It covers a wide range of styles there. And like you said, afternoon and evening, it kicks off at 3. It should be over by probably 9 or 9:30. Yeah. So it's a Sunday. Get out there and enjoy the day. And all the proceeds from the door, the raffles, the auctions, and the food will be going towards Josh. And the food will be served out of the Bachelor Table food truck by Maggie, who works there.
Of course.
And then Chef Josh Vitt, who runs Vitter's Catering, he's going to actually be providing the food, and all the proceeds he's donating to Josh as well.
That's right. And something I wanted to point out is, all the bands on this bill have some kind of connection to Josh, in a way, either directly or indirectly. So it was great that we could get all these, we get all these guys on the same page. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to find people from this area that we knew Josh was a fan of, drummer-wise, like Matt Donaldson and Michael Davis, Michael Hansen, Jake White, so on.
Yeah.
But we also wanted people on there like Steve Liddell, Tony Romanella, that we know he has a history with.
Yes, definitely.
Is a big fan of, and that kind of thing as well. So, yeah, like you said, this is a great lineup, and we're happy to be able to be a part of this.
Of course.
April 7th at the Shrine. This is being put together by us, Porch Talk. Laura Bells has had a big hand in this, and then Steve Murdoch from Murdoch Productions is helping us out, and of course Donnie Rich and the Shrine has, donated the venue and the door for this thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't be more grateful and thankful.
Definitely. I was going to ask you, what do you think about Metallica doing S&M 2?
I think it's pretty fucking rad.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what songs are going to do. I hope they change it up, and I mean, I'm sure there's going to be songs that are the same. I immediately go into geek mode. I can't talk. I get all jumbly and Professor Frankish. Whoa, set list and the system too. But no, for real. I think it's pretty cool. I had no idea they'd ever do something like this again.
Right.
And it just kind of got dropped on you. So that was cool. I saw a headline today, in my scroll through my feed about, a lot of fans are pissed off because I guess they sold out so fast and the bots bought them all up, all the tickets. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. Doesn't make a fuck to me. I'm not going to be there either way. It's in San Francisco, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
But I'm interested to see how this goes down and what songs they're going to do. And, it should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty neat.
Yeah. You mentioned the song selection, and my first thought is what other old songs could they do? But I don't think that's going to really change, because I figured the stuff in the set list that changes will be like adding songs from, obviously, a few songs from Hardwired.
Yes, that's what
maybe a Death Magnetic song or two.
You're right.
I doubt there's much Saint Anger, but there's probably going to be, fuck Lulu songs would work orchestrally, or how do you say that?
Yeah, you're exactly right in that.
But I'm sure there'll be one surprise thrown in, like something from the first 4 albums.
Yeah, but the classics that they did on S&M, the staples, well, yes, they'll be there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I just don't, like the load stuff that you saw on S&M, probably not going to be there.
Yeah, maybe kind of like their set list is now, maybe 1 or 2 songs might get thrown in the mix.
Yeah. But they're definitely going to give Hardwired some S&M treatment, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So.
And you're hoping not the actual song Hardwired, because
No.
we learned that acoustically doesn't come out that great.
It does not. I think.
But orchestrally, it might.
I
that
think.
a word?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I keep saying it. I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of like our YouTube video going over their acoustic thing. I think if they did that version of All in My Hands with some symphony kind of thing, that'd be cool.
Right.
Because they totally reimagined that song, which, every goddamn song on that fucking album needs to be reimagined, but we're getting way off on a tangent. But yeah, I think it'll be cool. I can't wait to, hopefully they film a lot of it or whatever the fuck, so.
Yeah, they will.
Oh yeah,
It'd be dumb not to.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, you're right, pretty much. So.
Well, every Metallica show is available for purchase audio-wise, and then.
Yeah, so they'll.
But that being S&M 2, it's going to be probably released as a Blu-ray or a digital download or something.
Exactly. So yeah, it'll be something to look forward to.
So that's September if you have not heard, people. All right, is there anything else to mention before we start talking to Chad Malone?
I don't think so. I feel like there is, but I can't really think anything right now. So,
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, you went to that concert the other night, right?
What concert? See, this is how shot my goddamn brain is.
Solidify and Sign of Lies.
Yeah.
Murderous Mary.
Yeah. Melissa and I went to Badass Renee's and saw 13X, Sign of Lies, Murderous Mary, Solidify. Great show. Just
were you there saw all 4 bands?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just a great night. A lot of, a good hang. We saw a lot of people we knew, and all the bands put on a great set. Murderous Mary, they're just, I don't know, it's like, what do I say that we haven't said already? And
right.
We've both seen them a million times, and, it's just, it's just flat out rock and roll. It's from the earth and it's from the heart. And it's natural, pure, true energy. I don't like to play favorites with these kind of things, but I'm just really digging on Murderous Mary, and they haven't yet turned in a bad set.
Right.
Sign of Lies, their new drummer was great. He nailed everything. Always smiling. I thought that was cool. And Devin's a powerhouse vocalist as usual. 13X is great. They put on an awesome show. Solidify, grand and epic and tight as a drum, tight as a dolphin's ass as usual. And, we're old and, we're boring, so we didn't last all the way till the end of Solidify. But we hung in there, and it was a good time. It was a great show. You should have been there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were at John Mellencamp, though, which is a great fucking excuse. How was that?
That was great.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was
where did you sit?
On the first row of the balcony.
Jesus.
Of the balcony.
Okay. Okay. You always get first row, you motherfucker.
No, those, of course, for that, they were really damn high. So
Yeah.
I got first row of the balcony in the first section, towards the end where you could see everything perfect.
Yeah.
But that's the second time I'd seen him, but the first time I seen him sober, I guess, because I saw him at Bill Street Music Fest.
Oh, yeah, I think you told me about that.
And that was great, but I was a little tipsy.
Okay.
I was there, with Josh and Tommy.
So you Jasoned it, huh?
That one, I remember it, but yeah, that was, how it is at a festival.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know.
But here at the Brady, it was, it was a cool set. I had looked at it before, and he was doing pretty much the same set every night, so you knew what to expect, but he's not playing Hurt So Good, which, we like to talk about stuff like that, which is funny, because, that probably pisses some people off.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So don't play it, that's what I say.
It doesn't. When you're John Mellencamp, you can leave out 5 hits and you still got 12 to play.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And you know what? That stage is theirs. It's not yours.
Right.
Okay, you're just lucky to be there. They can play whatever the fuck they want.
Right. Exactly. But I mean,
That goes for every band.
And then for Jack and Diane, he did it completely acoustic by himself.
Oh,
really? So I mean, that was cool because that was a different take on it. And then, that probably made someone else in their butt hurt.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fuck them and their hurt butt.
Right. But he did something I wanted to point out is there was this, this Aaron Lewis story last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
From the Criterion in Oklahoma City.
God damn, we could talk about that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't really need to get into it, but I don't like Aaron Lewis. But I agree with what the guy's point is. Mm-hmm. But he just obviously handled it wrong. You can't, that you're not going to get the right reaction when you handle it that way.
Here's what I thought. And we're going to go off on a tangent here. It sucked. People wouldn't shut up. But on the video, he was like talking to him and yelling at him, not in the microphone. So how are the people, way in the back can even hear what the fuck he's saying? Right. And then at the very end, he went to the microphone. It's like, what the fuck?
I didn't watch the video.
And then they've panned the crowd of the Criterion, and the place is so fucking huge. What are you doing an acoustic show there anyways?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a whole other discussion. Sorry, I had to get that in. Go ahead.
Well, no, the point to bring that up is John Mellencamp kind of did something similar in a way where he, after about the fourth song, he said, "Hey, everybody, thanks for coming out." He's like, "We're going to play some songs tonight that you guys know. We're going to play some songs that you probably don't know. And we're going to play a cover song, this and that." And he said, "There's going to be a point here coming up in the middle of the set where it's just going to be a couple of us, stripped down, a quiet part of the set. And I would request now that you treat it as a quiet part of the set. And if you're one of those loudmouth motherfuckers," like that was his quote. He's like, "If you're one of those loudmouth motherfuckers, I think it would be cool if you left here and went out into the lobby so you can be a loudmouth motherfucker out there." And then he said, I know how it is because I used to be one of those drunk loudmouth motherfuckers." He gets to that point and he's like, "This is the point I was talking about." And he's like, "I'm going to tell this story before this song." And then some dude in the crowd screams Jack and Diane. He's like, "Nope, that's not the fucking song. And you're exactly what I'm talking about. You can go out in the fucking lobby."
Oh my God.
And everybody's fucking like, "Yeah."
Always some fucking asshole, man. Jesus Christ. That reminds me of the, God, if I feel like I've told this story on the podcast before.
It's probably been a while, so
I'll tell it. And this wasn't even me. Josh Baker, our buddy, went to Brady Theater so many years ago. I think it was Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and Beth Hart was opening up. And I guess I don't really even know what she looks like. This has been goddamn 18 years ago or whatever. I don't know. But I guess she was super fucking skinny or whatever. In the middle of her song, she was like, "This next song, blah, blah, blah," telling the story about the song. And some fucking drunk idiot, Josh said, some fucking drunk idiot from up in the balcony screamed out, "Eat a fucking cheeseburger!" And she stopped and was like, "Hey, fuck you, motherfucker. You can get the fuck out of here." So that reminded me of that story.
Wow.
So yeah, Beth Hart didn't take any shit.
That's good enough.
And she shouldn't, yeah.
Well, now it's time to talk about Chad Malone.
Well, hold on. I have one more. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry
no, let's go.
To you. Sorry to Chad Malone. Did John Cougar Mellencamp or John Mellencamp or Johnny Cougar, whatever fuck he's called, did he do anything from Lonesome Jubilee?
Fuck, I don't remember. What's the
Paper
track?
and Fire? Yeah. Check it out. He did Paper and
Fire.
Both
of those, yeah.
Fuck yeah. I love that record. That is such a great fucking record.
Yeah.
I'm glad he played those.
Yeah, because Tracy was a big fan of both those songs.
Oh, man.
And I'm trying to think, he played, as far as like the more rockin' style songs, like he played the Authority song.
Yeah.
Towards the end, but he didn't play like ROCK in USA or I Need a Lover.
Yeah.
It was more of it wasn't like laid back, but it was more of that kind of like what you expect American rock and roll kind of set,
Yeah.
It wasn't like like an upbeat hard rock set like he could do if he wanted to.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
well, I'm glad he played those.
Yeah.
Lonesome Jubilee is a great album. I think it's a precursor to a lot of this rootsy stuff that you see today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Cool. And he didn't have an opener. The show opened with like a 15-minute documentary.
Oh, that's cool.
About him. So, yeah.
All about him?
Yeah. All right. So, like I mentioned earlier, episode 58, we had Chad Malone on for the first time. Now he's back. And since then, it seems like the Shame is more active in that past. Has it been about 2.5 years, probably? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't look at the timeline, but since we, sat down with him last time, Senior Fellows was pretty active then, and they're way less active now. So, But, Chad's always been a guy that always has something going on, and he's been a part of a lot of bands, and it's cool because there's there's some people that do that, and shit gets spread thin, but this guy's a part of a lot of acts throughout the years, and everything's always been high quality. So we're ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
All right, here's Chad Malone from The Shame and Larkin.
St. Patrick's on a Sunday this year, so people asked. We took advantage of it. I'm getting paid real well, so.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well for a punk band, not well for a proper band.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not bad. More so than The Shame will ever make, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Preparation for different kinds of shows where you got acoustic in between the regular shows and all that. How do you guys prepare?
Well, we've been a band now for 21 years. And even our newest member is 3 years in at this point. We're notoriously bad about not cramming too many rehearsals in for shows. Like we'll do maybe 3 and just, try to get ready for all the because basically we'll just go through our full St. Patrick's Day set. And the other sets we're going to do the other nights are conglomerations of some of that. So we don't really need to go over, every set when they're essentially encompassing the same tunes.
Yeah.
So yeah. And we play acoustic no matter what. It's just some gigs we're going to play amped. Okay. You know what I mean? Like our guitar player it's acoustic, but it'll play to a half stack. Actually, he just got a hollow body that sounds really good. So we're probably going to use it. But yeah, essentially we don't. It's folk music. I'm playing with some really talented people. They don't need to rehearse that much. I'm the only one that's probably going to struggle. So,
is the acoustic set on Saturday a full band thing?
Yeah.
And then the one on
everything but Thursday is full band.
Okay.
Thursday just being at Riley's liquor store at the Box Yard.
Okay.
And we'll just do 5 to 7. Set of old Irish songs. It'd be good fun. And I took Friday off work so I could just kind of sleep and rest. And
yeah.
Did you take Monday off too, I assume?
Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably need a couple of days of just R&R, if you will. Yeah, because, I just got to do my best to avoid drinking all day those days before the gigs. I need to just be rested and drink my tea, relax, kind of stay away from it, and then get down there a little bit before the gigs and all that. It's all right. It's, nothing we haven't done before. This is definitely the most in a row we've done. But, it's a good opportunity. It's good fun. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. See if my voice hangs out. I haven't been sleeping well lately, so I kind of got to rest it.
Is tea always your go-to?
Tea with honey or tea with whiskey. Soothes the throat a bit, depends on what I got going. But I've been drinking too much lately, so it's just tea for tonight.
But do you do any kind of warm-ups?
Drink beer?
Yeah.
No, I probably should, but, I never took this all that seriously. My voice sounds like Ronnie Drew anyway, which is, old Irish dude that sounds like he's singing through a gutter or something. Got a great voice, but it's just it sounds like he's been drinking whiskey and smoking his whole life, and I kind of get that sound. So there you go.
I always like to ask that because you get totally different answers, you know.
There's a lot of proper musicians that take it seriously and do warm-ups I never got into that.
But then I've heard Rob Halford doesn't, you know, and he's at that highest
Yeah,
level, you know?
yeah. I mean, it was fun seeing him play that last tour, the Firepower tour. Yeah, you know, I hadn't really been drinking, so I was there, and I could hear that he's definitely, the ears are starting to get a little rough on him. His voice is thereabouts, but it's not as strong as it used to be, you know. But fuck's sake, the dude's in his 60s.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Try to sing Evil Eye and all that, you know. Or Electric Eye, pardon me. Try to sing that shit at that age. Fuck.
He seemed to hit it. It's just he strained more. I noticed he was really bent over
Yeah,
that motorcycle
really.
there at that one part.
I don't think he took as good of care of himself as, say, Bruce did.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
Bruce can still do all the antics, and he's done pretty well to take care of himself. But, you know, last few Maiden tours have been great. You know, I've got no complaints about that. But anyway, sorry. I can talk about Maiden all fucking night. You know?
I think we probably could too.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, we're looking forward to the shows. We haven't really worked on new material, anything, and we've been in a band so long. After that last record came out a few years ago, we kind of felt that was maybe not a pinnacle, but kinda. It taken us so long to get that one done that we kind of felt like that was a huge hurdle, and we can just kind of now just play once in a while and all that. You know? It's good fun. It just oh, cool.
Yeah, shot glass in there too.
Hell yeah. All right. I may have to utilize that. Cheers.
Definitely.
But yeah, we just don't play that much anymore. So, I mean, Larkin's still a band, it's still a good band, but not one that does more than just a couple times a year.
Yeah. And this is kind of like the Super Bowl for you guys anyway.
Yeah, a friend of mine calls it Irish Christmas.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Dalton and I both, you know, Dalton's in both bands as well. The Shame's pretty much our main thing. Larkin, when it comes up, I mean, we definitely will take, you know, other than that show the other night, which had it not been a Bunnies reunion, we probably wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the Shame pretty much take off until April. You know, we're not going to do anything. We're just, two of us will focus on Larkin, you know, then take a little bit of time off, then start rehearsing, working on new material. We're getting the Shame record out sometime in the near future, so it's been sitting for a year, but that's just how labels work sometimes. So. But yeah.
So I guess on that note, it's completed and everything.
It's been done. I mean, the music's been done for ages. It was the first thing John did with this lineup, our new guitar player. He hadn't even played a show with us when he recorded the record. Yeah, we basically recorded it and then shopped it out to a couple of labels that were interested. One we decided to work with, but they ended up getting seriously backlogged. They're called Crowd Control Media, and they do a lot of Oi and whatnot. And we decided to partner with them instead of waiting for them to get it out themselves. Because, I mean, you know, a lot of bands don't realize that, you know, you want a label to put you out. What you're basically asking is other punk rockers to spend a couple of grand on what you do. And that's not easy. Mm-hmm. You know, who's sitting on that kind of money? You know, and labels are notoriously not making their money back. You know, you're almost always sitting on records. I know because I did it, you know what I mean? And, so we're going to partner with them. We're getting all the details now. So hopefully it should be out in a couple of months. And we've got some big shows coming up over the summer. So we're playing with Dog Company next month with, the Uncouth from Kansas City, Dog Company from Dallas. I'm bringing both of them up to the Mercury. And then we're playing with the band from France called Lions Law in Kansas City. And they're fucking fantastic. And so we're hoping to get it out by the summer. I mean, that's the tentative plan, but you know how things go. We'll see.
Yeah.
getting upset about it's not going to solve anything. You know what I mean? So it took that Roughneck record 2 years to get out. That last one, the last one that was released. So yeah, this one's been done for a while. It's damn good. It's totally different lineup than all the previous stuff. So it's the lineup that played the other night. So. But none of those guys are recorded with us. It just took us years to form that lineup, but one thing after another.
Yeah. Well, so now I would ask my current lineup question.
Well, it was me, Josh, and Kevin for most of the time, and we did all the records. And because we're the ones that started it back in about 2010. And eventually, I wanted us to get better. And a lot of that was on my shoulders. Because I wanted more guitar melody, and I don't feel like I'm capable to doing it. I would always struggle to do it live. I get caught up, and I'm just not a lead guitarist. I'm decent rhythm. Can't play lead to save my life. I can pick out the melody if you just leave me alone with the guitar. I can kind of figure it out, but I'm not I'm not comfortable with it. So we wanted a lead guitarist, and I had seen Triple Fang. You know, I knew Dave from Triple Fang, and I had asked him, and he played with us for a few years and had some really good material. And over that time, Josh just had enough. I mean, when we formed the band, he had not played music in 20 years. We formed The Shame. He got to play festivals, release records, do all the things you wanted to do as a kid, play music, but then he did it, and he wanted to not worry about it anymore. So, fair play. But I figured if he was going to quit, I would get a more proper musician. You know what I mean? Nothing against Josh. Josh is really good. He's a guy that can play bass, but I kind of wanted to move up to a bass player, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And Waska is the first person that would come to mind. Yeah. You know, Terry from Asylum and all that. And we've been friends for a long time. He's also, you know, has gone out to the athletics games, fits in just fine with what we do. Always not really he listened to punk rock, but not necessarily oi, but you know, stupid talented on bass. So he got what we were doing. It wasn't an issue. Then we had a bit of, we did that lineup for a while, and then Dave decided to step down because he was wanting to work more on, this was probably about a year ago, wanting to work more on just a new project he was doing. I'm not really sure. He just didn't feel like he had time. So we were going to replace Dave with Dalton, because Dalton's guitar player for Larkin and loves oi music. And not long after that, Kevin decided to quit. And Dalton's pretty damn good at drums too. And then Dalton joined at drums, and then Dave decided not to quit. And we were like, all right. So we did that for a little bit. And then Dave did decide to step down. And then, you know, we had known John just from the soccer games, you know. And what's funny is I knew he was not really a punk rock dude. You know, he's a barber and listens to metal. But I knew he played guitar, but never really played with anybody. But you guys haven't gone to the athletics games, I don't think. But he would be up leading chants. That's kind of how I knew him. He would be up in front of the whole crowd, leading everybody, being real flamboyant and boisterous and all that shit. And I was like, you know, I don't even care if you like oi. You bring that guy to our set and play it the way we want it played. I'm good. And that's, I think, exactly what he brought. A lot of energy, you know, and he's got the skills to play the guitar bits.
Yeah.
So
he was very energetic.
Yeah. And, you know, he's youngest of all. Him and Dalton are both pretty young, they're early 30s. But both those guys have brought an energy that we're all four of us are really happy with this lineup. So I've got no complaints, you know, and like I said, we were planning on going to the studio, and when John came in, I was like, you know, let's just do that. Let's not even worry about playing the gig yet. And the recording came out pretty fucking good. I don't think I ever gave you one of those, did I?
No.
It's got "This Is My Beer" on it, and we did it like I said about a year ago. I'll burn you a copy before you go.
Okay.
I've got it on the computer.
So, talk about, live. There's a point in the set where you'd mentioned this next block of songs, and I thought that was kind of a cool way to put it. I mean, is there a certain, way you build a set?
Yeah, very much so.
And to get the flow right and stuff like that.
I've always kind of planned sets out. I mean, I've already got all the sets planned out for the Larkin shows coming up, which songs work with which ones, how long we're going to play. Larkin doesn't block them in. Like the shame, once we got this lineup, I really wanted to focus on being a better live band. I mean, I always thought we were pretty good, but we didn't really plan out the shows as well. I mean, we knew the set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now we plan the pace of each song, which ones we want in certain moments, and we do them in blocks to where it's, after the second song, the third songs, there's no stopping. There's no stopping between those.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them like that because, you think of it as an audience member. The band's killer, but after every single song, they're babbling about something. And I've always, in my political bands, it was always kind of that way. We would play one or two and then we'd talk about politics for a minute. Brother Inferior was like that. But I wanted the Shame to be more of a rock band and put on a rock show. And I want you to sing along, you know what I mean? So play 3 or 4 songs, have a quick breather and a drink, play a block of another songs and kind of have the order sorted out like that. So we're already well rehearsed as to how the whole set's going to go. Yeah, I really wanted to approach this era of the band, if you will, as an audience member. And, the way I would want to see the band. If
that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
We're never going to be a popular band. We're never going to make it anywhere. I'm fine with all of that. I don't care. I mean, I would love someone to come in and write me a 6-figure check to put out one of my records. That would be awesome, but it's not going to happen. But as far as we can take it, I don't want the reason to be because we didn't give our best at shows. Mm-hmm. And so if we approach it, we give 100%. The songs are on the way we want to play them. The set is good order, good energy, no wasted time between songs. We kind of leave it all on the field, as they would say, playing soccer. If people don't grab onto what we're doing and we've done everything we can to make it as good as possible, then so be it. Yeah. But I don't want to look back and go, we could have had a really good band if we would have just worked a little harder. Yeah. Exactly. But if you don't build an audience and you've given everything you've got, you've planned out your best set, you've played your best songs, you've given all your shows and nobody's into it, then so be it, But yeah, so once we formed this new lineup, we all sat down and had a few beers and talked about the ways to improve our set and ways to improve our show. And I wanted to go about that. Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of bands do that.
Yeah.
But I didn't for a long time. So, and I still think there's some things we could do to improve it. But yeah, being prepared there's a lot to be said for that.
Definitely.
Once you get the album out, do you think you guys will try to tour it at all? Or
we're going to do short ones, not like I used to do in the past. Not like 3 to 6 months or even 3 to 6 weeks. It'll be more like 10 days here.
Right.
Long weekend there, kind of shit. And if the festival can come up that we can get on, plan a weekend around that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, we're already planning with like our friends in Dog Company to do some Texas shows, like go to Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston for a weekend, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll do more, but it'll be more 3 to 6 days than 3 to 6 weeks or months. I'm almost 50. No desire to be gone that long.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm ever going to do that again, I want a tour bus with individual beds and a bar and TV and, all the amenities.
All that.
Right.
I've done enough tours in the back of unair conditioned vans that, yeah, I mean, I'll do it, but not for more than a couple days. It was good fun though. Those are really good memories.
Well, speaking of the Bunnies of Doom show,
yeah,
talk about old Capitol Underground. Like, what your thoughts as outside of being a part of it.
It's hard.
Your thoughts of being a fan watching it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to be unbiased about. I mean, I feel horrible about the shit that I'm in. You know, I'm honored that I'm a part of it. But, you know, you look back at your past self. I'm way too fucking self-conscious, man. I mean, when we went and saw it at the theater, Sarah and I was like, sweetie, I gotta get drunk before this. I can't. You know, imagine sitting in an audience and watching people talk about your youth. It's quite disturbing. Even if it is all positive, you know what I mean? It's flattering and it's great. And I tell you what, seeing a lot of that, like the first section, especially the 70s stuff, most of that stuff I kind of heard about, but really didn't know. So there was a lot in that movie that I had no idea. And I consider myself to be part of the punk scene from early 80s on. But there was a lot going on in the late 70s, early 80s. I had no clue. I was just a kid. So, I think he did a fantastic job with the film. I like I said, I'm personally honored to be a part of it. I think he went in deeper than I would have expected or anticipated in a lot of the history. I mean, it's pretty fucking long.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours, a little over 2 hours.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
There's probably parts that could have been stripped down, but that's every person has their own ideas on how somebody else should do things. But the fact is matter, they're the ones that did it. And they did a fantastic job. And they touched into the parts of the punk scene that might have been a little outside the punk scene. Like, you have your Baby M, who, while they played with punk bands, they weren't a punk band, but they were the underground scene. So that's, that all makes sense. Mm-hmm. We got into just speed thrash, and PBOC got into and just, sheer metal, mm-hmm. And, so it was cool to see the way they put it together from the early days of punk rock in Tulsa to where it ended up being a lot more diverse with thrash and funk and metal, and then, regular punk rock or whatever, all from the early days of the explosive comp, which I remember seeing that all over town in the 80s. Mm-hmm. I didn't know any of those dudes. I knew of like the Bridge Climbers and had seen Sarah and Food Chain and shit like that. But of course, NOTA. Yeah. But the bands I knew were all guys my age that were, before they did CAH or maybe the same time. Because there was CAH and there was, I think they did a band called the Riot Kids, and it was JFK. Fuck, there was just a lot of crappy punk bands at the same time we were doing ours. So point being is, in that film, they didn't need to mention a lot of that because there was a million fucking punk bands in Tulsa. Yeah. And they mentioned ones that were actually productive and I mean, there's always more, sure. But yeah, I was real happy with the film. It's just hard to be unbiased about it. Yeah. I see it and I see myself in it and I kind of cringe.
Well, you mentioned early 80s, like, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but what was your first band?
First band and first band that did anything are two very different things. I mean, I was in a band called Midway in high school.
Okay. And
but we just were mainly hard rock, metal covers and played school functions. So, yes, that was my first band, and then started getting into heavier music. It did a band called Mad Arab, which turned into Self-Destruct. We were all into that silly Necronomicon stuff, and the guy that wrote it was called the Mad Arab, and so we took that, and we were a pretty heavy band, but we really didn't play much. But then we formed a band called Self-Destruct, and we played a few shows. That's when we started meeting like Predestined Fate, and we played Nitro and Hoy Quans but the band that did the most and the earliest would have been Concept of Nonsense. I mean, that's easy. Mm. Self-Destruct, we just recorded like a little demo thing and played a few shows. And then broke up. But then I got more and more into Cryptic Slaughter and faster the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Nonsense was pretty productive, and we had broken up for a while, formed another band called Unsociety with Dan Rife, and a couple guys from the Underprivileged. And then we reformed Nonsense, different lineup. Actually, that was our first tour as well, 93?
Mm-hmm.
93. Fucking hell. 26 years ago.
So did metal come before punk?
Yeah. I'm Iron Maiden through and through.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It seems like we asked you this the last time, but just again for me, did guitar come first or singing? When did you know you could do?
No, I sucked at and still suck at guitar. Basically, my only desire to pick up the guitar was probably a lot out of sibling rivalry.
Uh-huh.
My brother got one, and we were that 2-year apart siblings where he was older and beat the shit out of me all the time. So, I mean, we're great. I love him. We're family. It's all good, But just going back to childhood, it was just a tough time, and like it is for almost everybody, you know what I mean? And so he got a guitar, and I was fascinated with music. Always kind of socially awkward, and it didn't help having my family situation the way it was. And so I didn't really have a lot of friends, and music always kind of filled that gap, And so when my brother got the guitar, I was always into the one just picking at it, just trying to figure it out, not very well, but picking it out. And I liked messing around on it and picking things out, but only minimally. I would never try to learn anybody else's songs. I would just try to pick out stuff of my own. No, I was always just singing. I didn't start playing guitar in bands until much later. I tried doing like a slow, like mid Swansea kind of band called In a Band. And, what I wanted and what they wanted were two different things. And I won't say limited on guitar. I'll say horrible at guitar. So I would try to play rhythm guitar and sing, and it was definitely a detriment to what we were doing. And I was the first drummer for the Kids, and we were horrible. Then I switched to guitar. But I didn't really take guitar that, I don't even take it seriously now, but I didn't really play regularly till, I played for the Kids, but I didn't really invest in it until when I started Assembly of God, and I started just playing guitar and singing. Because the end of Brother Inferior, we were writing material I did not like. I found that a lot of guitar players, especially if you're growing up playing punk rock and you start getting into other music, a lot of guitar players I know start feeling very unchallenged and want to make their music more interesting. And I don't. I started hating guitar players. Basically, that's what it boils down to. And when Brother Inferior broke up, Ryan was writing, much just so far removed from what we were doing. And it worked for him, and he could see that as a logical direction. But I couldn't. I wanted more simple, just NOTA kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And so, in order to not deal with guitar players that didn't feel challenged with the simplicity of the music I wanted to write, I just started playing and singing. I was already playing with the Kids, yes, and getting better, but not. I was definitely getting a lot better after the years, as far as rhythms go. But I never tried to do guitar just solidly on my own until like that. I was doing occasionally on my own with the Kids, but I never felt that comfortable with it. But that was also just playing guitar and not really singing. Mm-hmm. And I was having Chris, being a singer. So yeah, and then moved on to the leveling after Assembly of God, and that was, just basically sticking to the 3-piece model, not dealing with guitar players anymore. Yeah. Now, as long as the music's kind of what I want. Everyone in the band's always has input, I mean, I'll write main body of the songs, but everyone gets their 2 cents in and all that. But I don't have a desire to be in a more heavily musician-based band. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because that's what I felt like the other night at the Bunny show. I was like, we were playing with just these stupid talented bands. Not that the guys I'm playing with aren't talented. But it seemed like the bands were based off musicianship.
Mm-hmm.
More so than I just wanted to write catchy songs, and if they're simple as fuck, then so be it, And I mean, definitely the other bands that night had some good songs, but you could tell that they were also focused on their musicianship and bringing that to the fore and all that. I don't give 2 shits about that. I'm not very good anyway. I just want you to sing along. That was kind of the way I always thought about it. Was like, not that you can't find a balance, because a lot of people do, but I don't have the skill set nor the patience, I think, I I sang for Senior Fellas. That was one of the most complex bands I've ever been in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never going to write any of that music. That was all James.
Yeah.
I just wrote lyrics on top of it. I'd have to kind of do the math to figure out how the song went. And, but that's just the music I listen to on my own. That's not it.
Yeah. Well, it's like, from the other night, even if you didn't know the song, by the end of the song, you could sing along with it.
That's what I want.
And that's a pretty valuable thing, I think.
That's growing up listening to NOTA
mm-hmm.
and even other local bands, Roger Scott's, Dead in the Suburbs and that, and Lost Reactors. And you had, there's just a lot of catchy punk bands from back then, some here, some wherever. I mean, but even if you look at Iron Maiden, well, as complex as they can be, if you break their songs down, there are really a lot of just good verses and choruses in there. Yeah. You're still going to have something to grab onto. Not with every song per se, but most of them. Mm-hmm. And that was always what I liked. And my early listening to music was, and Van Halen and shit like that. If you take away the guitar wanking, which I enjoy, for what it is, I'll never do it, but there's good, catchy songs in there.
Yeah,
it's just catchy choruses. The way I envisioned it, especially after playing into later Brother Inferior stuff, and was, if I'm going to approach, let's say you've got 100 people at the gig. Do you really is your goal to impress the 3 to 5 musicians there, or to have the 95 other drunk people singing along? And while my songs will never make the radio, they're not going to be on top of the fucking charts, still, if I can get a couple people singing along and they get something out of it, cool. Yeah, that's plenty for me.
Did you job?
Yeah, and that's what I like about music in general. That's the shit I listen to. Mm-hmm. So that's the stuff I want to play. It's what I enjoy. I don't get anything out of most like instrumental music, and I can appreciate it. It's good. There's a lot of talent there. But my go-to music is not that. Mm-hmm. And that's no insult on it. That's just a taste thing. You know what I mean? Even the metal I listen to is I gotta have something to grab onto and something to sing along to.
Exactly.
You ever listen to Danko Jones?
No.
Should check him out.
I appreciate it.
I'll just let you know.
Okay.
But it's basically that.
Oh,
just
cool.
Stripped down hard rock.
Yeah, and I listen
like
to
AC/DC, catchy. Whatever.
Yeah. That's why I like a lot of folk music too. It's the simplicity of it. Listen to old, from Woody Guthrie to Billy Bragg to all that. It's good.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I part of growing up too is my father. I was born in 1970, and the music in the mid 70s, there was a lot of folk rock bands like America.
Yeah.
And the softer side of that, you had like Boz Scaggs and the Doobie Brothers. Not necessarily softer, but just rock and roll. You know what I mean? But all pretty fucking catchy stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so that's what I grew up around. Not even realizing it. But that's what I grew up around. So I think it just stuck with me.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of this past weekend, we saw Bunnies of
Yeah.
Doom and Dead Clown reunions. Is there a chance we'd ever see the kids or Brother Inferior playing again?
Brother Fury probably not, because I had spoken with Ryan about it a few years ago, seeing as though him and I were the only original members to last of the whole thing. And he wrote a good part of the music. I wrote some of the music, and I wrote all the lyrics. So we were pretty much the main bit of that. And his family's not really here anymore. He has no reason. He's been living in Portland since after we got back from our European tour 20 years ago. He's an archaeologist, travels all over. So he has no, to take 2 weeks off work, come down here and rehearse and play a show. And that's fair. I did talk to some of the dudes that have played. Actually, I talked to the Shame about doing it maybe. And some other friends of mine about doing an Inferior set under the name Leather Interior. But it's not that important to me. I would like to do it if, I've got a month off. The Shame's not playing, Larkin's not playing. And I could put a little effort into it and pick out like a 10, 12 song set list and just for shits and giggles, play a gig. Because we never did play last show here. Our last show was in Rostock, Germany, in 1999. And so I would do it, but it's not that important to me. No. The kids are still officially a band. It's funny because Waska has been our bass player for the last 3 years, and he's never played with us. After the last time we played, which 3 or 4 years ago, I don't recall, our bass player decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And fair play, Rich had been with us for a long time. It's just, we hardly ever do it, and I think it just felt like a hassle to him. And fair play, if you don't really keep gear around, when you don't touch a bass, and then, oh, guys want to play a show in 2 weeks, you gotta re-throw yourself all into it. And so I asked Terry, I was like, if the kids ever play again, you want to play? He's like, yeah, sure. Because, he's been around that all that time. Chris, sometimes I think he might want to play, and sometimes he doesn't. And, I'm the same with the kids. It's something I enjoy, and if it comes around again, I can be all in, but it's not life or death to me either. I got other things I'm doing, so I'm not too much of a live in the past dude. But the kids never broke up. We're still officially a band. We still might play. We'll be a band for 40 years, or not play for 20 of them, and I've been a band for over 20 at this point. I think, shit, is it 28? How long? I think we started in 91.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, me and Chris are all that's left, really. We have a band, we have a lineup. Steve, our lead guitar player, the old concept, the nonsense guitar player, and he still plays guitar. I don't know if he plays with anybody, but if we call him up and say, last time we got together, he remembered this. He's a little rusty, but everybody kind of remembered the tune. So. And Mike, I think, is still around, our old drummer. So if not, I could probably work up a lineup. The Shame dudes are pretty willing to do whatever if we want to. Yeah, we thought about doing we did that not the Sex Pistol set. We did the Sex Pistol set, but that was 3 of us from the Shame. No, that was 2 of us from the Shame. Pardon me and Waska, and but we also did the documentary night. Were you guys there for that?
Yeah.
You end up doing NOTA songs, Brother Fear stuff, Illegitimate Son song, Dead in the Suburbs. That was fun.
Yeah, that was really cool. I dug that.
Yeah, I don't mind doing stuff like that once in a while. It's funny because the most popular songs are obviously the NOTA ones. None of us were in NOTA, but but we all loved them growing up. So that I would be fine with doing a Nota set.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to play my stuff. I'll play their stuff. It's better.
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of alluded to it, but final obligatory question: is the Senior Fellows done officially? Or is it just
not officially, but not gonna do anything. I have told James, well, it's his band. I mean, he's basically the Steve Harris of the band. Started it, writes, he wrote everything until I joined and started writing lyrics, but it's still all him. Video over everything, organized it, booked it. That's James. We lost our drummer after our last tour. What was it? A couple years ago now, it seems like. And, that band being as technical as it is and very specific style-wise as it is, getting someone to fit into what we're doing, I think James was having a hard time filling that spot. And so I think me, him, and Dave are all kind of in that. If it comes around again, we'll do it. But if I'm honest, I'm not pursuing it. If James gives me a ring and says, you want to practice and play a show soon, I'd probably be down with it. While it wasn't a style that I really listened to, I very much enjoyed playing with the fellows. Although it was hard to get my voice to do that again. Because I was singing like I did in Bring Down the Hammer. And
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
that's hard, man. I could do it, but you fall out of practice with that, and it's hard to get it back.
I bet.
When I first started with the fellows, I just went, because I was writing the lyrics for them, and they were having, I think, a different dude kind of come in and sing. And I just went in to track some stuff and tried to get my voice to sound like that, and it just, wow. It took a while. And when we were recording the records, Champ would come in and do all his songs in one day, and it would take me months of going back and I, what a way to make me feel incompetent, but whatever, I got it done eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten more accustomed to singing like I do with Larkin and the Shame. It's still difficult, but easier on me. Yeah. Although Larkin is more a marathon, we'll play for 3.5 hours. So. Yeah, these shows coming up are going to be long ones. Like the Shame, our longest set, we've played an hour once. And Larkin, we're playing 2 hours Thursday, 3 hours Saturday, 3 hours Friday, 2 hours Saturday, and 4 hours Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll be singing about 10 to 12 hours.
Get ready.
That's why I'm drinking my tea.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll probably be in bed by 8 o'clock, too. Got to get rest. I'm still haven't been sleeping well, so my voice is a little strained from the weekend because I just got home, sat up and drank, and I didn't do what I should have done, which is just went to bed, and got rest. And so I'm kind of paying. If I do that, then it takes me a few days to recover from it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
I abuse myself a little too much sometimes.
So could you say in all the bands you've been a part of, like what you're most proud of and what you've done? I know that's probably a shitty question because it's like, what's your favorite kid or whatever, But.
Well, every time I've done something new, I feel pretty proud of it. Like being in the documentary, I feel very proud that what I did was considered to matter enough to be in it. And it is hard to say because I feel proud of a lot of it. Everything we've done in Larkin, getting that last record out after 8 years of having lineup changes and surgeries. We lost a year because Karen had carpal tunnel surgery, and we went through a previous 2 guitar players in that time. It took us forever to write the song and get in the studio. 8 years to get that record out. That felt like such a hurdle. Like, if we don't do anything else, we finally got this done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would definitely one of the highlights would be the Brother in Fear last tour, which was 20 some odd countries and 6 months long. Dumbest thing I ever did. But you can't help but look back and go, despite all the fuck ups that happened during that time, despite a lot of mistakes being made, that was pretty fucking awesome. And getting to play CBGBs, even though it was one of the worst sets we played. Assembly of God playing there, and was using a fucking Yamaha guitar with like 3 locks, and you had to use 2 different Allen wrenches to change a fucking string.
Oh, wow.
And of course, the 2 songs in, string breaks, and I'm standing there with my dick in my hand at CBGB's. We still got to do it, so I got to play there, which was pretty proud moment, but looking back on it going, the fact that I played there is a whole lot cooler than if you would have actually saw the show.
Yeah. You say you played there, no one has to know.
Yeah, they don't really have to, find the video or anything.
Yeah.
And just, doing records, this Shame record's going to feel like a good hurdle getting out because I'm really proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, catchy punk rock. It's a lot heavier. We've beefed up our sound a little bit. Having 2 guitars makes a difference.
Yeah.
But also, when I started it, I wanted it to be like a classic Oi band. And maybe I followed the guideline a little too much. I just tried to follow what Oi was, what I liked about it, the sound, the style. And after 5-6 years of doing, it's 9 years of doing it now. Especially when John joined, so about a year or so ago, I was like, we're all metalheads. I still want it to be an Oi band, but I'm not going to worry about the sound as much. I'm going to get it to sound like the way I want it to. Marshall half stack, beef up the fucking gain, put in some proper leads, not tuned down, but definitely try to write a little heavier riffs, and still be Oi, but also give it some more stones. And so I'm real proud of that. There's a shit ton. Grateful that anybody even gives 2 shits about anything I've done. So, you look back and go, that actually mattered, No, I guess it didn't. That's okay.
It did.
There you go, Chad Malone of the Shame, Larkin, Senior Fellows, the kids who never learned how to color inside of the lines, formerly Brother Inferior, formerly Concept of Nonsense. We talked about all that stuff in there.
Yes, we did.
The reason that just kind of ended there without a formal ending was because the batteries ran out on the Tascam. We had, a few more things we could talk about, but I think that got summed up there nicely at the end, talking about everything that he's done throughout his musical career. If you're listening to this and you haven't heard any of those bands, just do yourself a deep dive into all that stuff.
Why not?
Yeah. Check it all out because it's all great. And I'm very glad to hear that The Shame has a new album here coming in the next few months. So really looking forward to hearing that. And whenever we get our hands on some, I'm sure we'll be playing a song for you on here. But once again, if you have not heard episode 58, go check that out. We go into a lot of stuff that we didn't talk about on this one. But a huge thank you to Chad for having us over, having a couple beers, and sitting there and talking to him about punk rock.
Definitely.
So if this is your first time listening, SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground is where all the episodes are. You can also find it at TheThunderUnderground.com, and you can listen on iTunes, Google, TuneIn, all that great stuff. And we've had on Lenny Lashley from the Street Dogs. We've had on the Normandies, another local punk band. We've had on Wino from the Obsessed. We've had on a lot of guys from hardcore bands like Hatebreed, I Hate God, Superjoint, Crowbar, not really hardcore, but in the same vein.
Yeah. All the good shit.
Yeah. And then we go into stuff like Kiss, Seven Dust, Warrant, Shooter Jennings. The list is pretty broad. So just dive in there and check it out. TheThunderUnderground.com is where you can find everything, all our socials, follow us on all that stuff. Get on YouTube and subscribe there as well because we put up videos now at least once a week or so where we review songs, albums, concerts, talk about random shit. We reviewed Cheese recently. You'll understand it if you go find it.
My God. Cheese.
Yeah. You need some more cheese right now.
No, I don't. Oh, God.
You can also find us every Monday night on 1027WSNR.com, 7 p.m. Central. That's about it, right?
I think that does it.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, thanks to Chad Malone. Thanks to Med Farm, DEB Concerts, and we will see you April 7th at the Venue Shrine for the benefit for The Bachelor, for Josh Baker of Zen Hipster and The Bachelor's Table. And until next time.
Last time I think we talked for like half an hour.
Well, see, he usually has the thing on when we walk in, so I'm used to just...
Is that the case?
It wasn't then, but no.
Sorry about
Normally,
that.
he's right. Normally,
All right.
I get ahead of people just so I'll start talking, but...
Thunder Underground, y'all.